Hi, everyone. I've got an amazing author today, Kelly Doniger, and she has written a wonderful book called No Fence, No Limits. And we're going to go into this in a moment, but welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me. What a journey. I still pinch myself when I see the cover of that book, when someone holds it in the real life format. Very surreal.
Well, I know that it was a journey for you to get this book written, and we thank you for the vulnerability because this book is going to really open people's minds and really take them on a journey. Now, designing an unconventional life, first of all, give us a little bit of an overview of your white picket fence dream and tell us what was that white picket fence dream first.
Well, I think being young from the 80s, a young girl from the 80s, we grew up in this environment. Well, I certainly grew up in an environment where you grow up in the suburbs, you look to your parents' life and married, having kids, everyone around you grows up, meet someone, has kids, you have a career, and that family environment. And I just envisaged that my life was going to look like that as well. And I never thought that it would really be any other way. So I always envisaged that I'd be a mum, that I would have kids around me, that I'd be like my sister-in-laws and my friends. And my life didn't go like that. And it was a long journey through fertility, infertility, and IVF processes, and coming to the realization that it really wasn't going to be my path. I was dealt completely different cards to what I thought I would be. And through many years of unsuccessfully trying and ultimately leading me down a different journey of that white picket fence path, I did find an unconventional life and designed a completely different life to what I thought I would. But also, I've now come to that acceptance and that stage of realizing this is actually where I'm supposed to be.
I love that. And thanks for sharing. And obviously, that journey that you went through is one that, isn't so dissimilar because whether that be to some people, whether that be a choice that was maybe wasn't the choice that you were able to have, some people choose consciously that they don't want the white picket fence that their parents might have wanted. And they have to navigate that because I'm sure you had some struggles along the way with the outside people coming in saying how you should possibly be doing things along the way. Is that right?
Yeah, you really do. There's a lot of comparison in our world. And even in today's world with social media and things like that, you're constantly scrolling that highlight reel and you're seeing what everyone else is doing around you. And you're like, why am I not the same? So there comes a long journey of that process of accepting that you're allowed to be different, whether it is a choice made for you or a choice that you do want to make. And it might be that you don't want to have children, but it's coming to that realization and that acceptance and understanding the path that you're on is absolutely okay, and showing people that it's okay. And this book is really about that message of inspiring people to know that your life can be completely different and that is okay. And through the greatest of adversity, amazing things are still possible. You have the power to design your own life. You have the power to make it anything you want it to be, and really ensure that you have the right people around you helping you with that path, or ensuring that you have the right network around you to make really good decisions as well.
Yeah, I love that because even though this was your journey of not being able to have children that may have been your original white picket fence dream, you went on to designing your unconventional life. This isn't just about having children. This could be somebody that has family that feels the white picket fence is I need to go on and become a doctor or a dentist because
Mm.
everyone in my family did. So I love this book that it's not just about sharing your story and the journey that you went on and where you came to, you can still have that happy ending, that happily ever after, essentially. And it's the stages that you share with people through the book as well, where you talk about the stages of grief, including the shock, the denial, the bargaining, the depression, and the anger. You describe how you navigate through a lot of that and through this massive identity shift. Which one was the hardest for you to get through? And what advice would you give to someone who might be going through this right now, other than buy the book for a great
Yeah.
read and learn? But is there anything else that you can explain to people about this sort of journey that you go through?
Yeah, I love the structure of the book. I love how it's come together and how it's really formatted in those stages to help people understand how they might be feeling. So at the end of each of the chapters, there's actionable tips to show people that if they're feeling that way in that particular stage, that's totally okay. And certain elements of things that I did that helped me move through those areas. I think probably that anger stage was one of the hardest and probably one of the ones that really pushed me to then the next step of acceptance. And that anger stage being around the misdiagnosis and not knowing part of my genetic makeup in those late stages that I could have known in the early stage. And that really sent me into a bit of a spiral of what is it that I'm actually going to do with my life now? And that was a real pivotal moment of being quite really vulnerable in the book, but also a stage of where I'm like, yeah, what's next? What happens now? I'm mid 30s and I actually really don't know what it is that I'm going to do with my life. So it was that real moment of extreme anger, but also feeling lost and not knowing what was next. And that was the moment where I had to pick myself up. It couldn't be my husband, it couldn't be family, it couldn't be friends saying, do this, do that. It was a moment where I had to look inwards to myself and say, what is it that I'm going to do next? What lights me up? What is my next chapter going to look like?
I love that because you then talk about redesigning essentially your life to now. And that started with the journey of interior design studies once you'd reached the acceptance stage, and which is when you knew that you had to kind of let go of the past and so forth. Was it that exploration that you did where you went, well, what is it that I really enjoy doing that lights you up, which you said? And then how did that help in that healing process?
It was the timing, I think, of being in WA, and we just embarked on about the process of buying a block of land, and we were going to build a home. And my creative juices really started flowing, and I was loving the process. And then I decided that I really needed something for me. And I mentioned that in the book around those beginning stages of that next chapter, going, what is it that I do love? And I've always loved a bit of design and styling, and I've always styled my homes that we've lived in. And I always had friends and family say to me that you are really good at this. And I didn't actually realize how much of my creativeness was coming from my family as well. I had a really creative mum who was a seamstress and made wedding dresses her whole life. And I had an auntie who was really creative as well. So I didn't realize so much of my what I loved doing was so apparent in my childhood, but also from my family members too. And then I realized this was something that really did light me up. So I didn't have the intent of stepping into the business world. It was more about studying something that I was really enjoying and I was good at it. And I was loving doing the assignments. And then that flowed into selecting materials and designing our home and having an amazing experience with our builder that we had in Perth, which not everyone says is an amazing experience when you build, but we did have an amazing experience. So it opened up this whole world of something that I didn't know was possible that was making me happy again. And it really honestly just evolved from there.
I love that because even when you talk about it, it lights you up. And I think when we're doing what we love and we're doing what's true to us is what's really important. And while a lot of the story is like about your infertility journey, the main theme of the book is about how you can break through from the scripts and the expectations that no longer serve us. And what what can people who are experiencing like this different set of expectations, like I said before, it doesn't have to be just around that, but expectations that we get around us of what life should be and not necessarily what you yourself are wanting, what can they expect to learn from the book? And if readers were to take at least one lesson from your story and acted on it, what would you want that to be? So, first of all, like I said, what can they expect? And then what can they sort of take away? How can it challenge them to create their own life according to them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I honestly hope that it inspires them to know that anything is possible. I think in when you are going through a lifestyle change, whether it's through hardship, like I've spoken about in the book, or it is adversity in career change or something like that, you know in yourself that it's not right. You'll be these walls will come up. There'll always be something that's pushing you another way. And I think that those moments you need to embrace the unknown and embrace the unconventional, say, and say, what is it? Where am I being led to? Is there an opportunity somewhere else that I don't know about? And what's the harm in trying? At least you know that you tried. And I just hope that this book shows them that anything is possible and that there can be really crappy moments in life, which I think everyone has dealt with some kind of adversity, but know that you are the person that can create the change and that anything is possible. You might not know straight away what that light is at the end of the tunnel, but I promise you that something will be waiting because I never ever dreamed that my life would be at this point. When I was back in those depths of infertility, I had no concept that I would end up in WA and now Melbourne with a design studio that's Australia wide. But I dug deep into something that really did light me up. And I know this is exactly where I'm meant to be.
Beautiful. So, give a little plug also your design studio. Tell us the name and where it is, because some people will read the book, but they'll want to come and find out about your design services.
Yeah, thank you. So the business is 13 Interiors. We are Perth and Melbourne based. So we have two lovely studios and an amazing team. We primarily work on residential forever home processes with our clients for all interior design, whether it's new builds, renovations, furniture and styling. And yeah, we have such a nice range of types of homes and clients that we work on in that modern contemporary phase. And yeah, it does really light me up. And I love the process of now also mentoring designers in their businesses and helping them along the way. And so, yeah, it's been an amazing journey over the last 8 years of business. And I honestly still pinch myself that I'm here now.
That's beautiful because it just shows people, like you said, what you've created by just following that dream and deep in your heart. It's probably where you were being guided. And I think we don't listen to that guidance that could be taking us somewhere even better than what we could have ever imagined, which is in your case. And again, no fence, no limits. Designing an unconventional life. Grab your book. We're going to put the links below. It's an amazing read. It will really get you thinking and get you through some tight corners and open up your mind to what might be possible for yourself. So, thank you so much, Kelly, for getting this book out there, for sharing your message, and for showing people that if one path isn't the right way, there can be other more amazing paths that open up to you. So, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for being on the author journey with me and the support of your team. It's been amazing.
Our pleasure. Thanks so much. Go grab the book. The link will be below.